You ever look up at a brand new skyscraper, a massive bridge, or even just a house going up in your neighborhood and wonder, how did that even start? Well, I'll tell you, it doesn't start with a shovel. It starts with a number. Today, we are diving deep into one of the most critical, high-stakes parts of construction, the journey of an estimate.
I mean, think about it for a second. It's a crazy puzzle, right? You have a set of drawings, an empty piece of dirt, and somebody's dream. How in the world do you turn that into a hard dollar amount before anyone has even hammered a single nail? Well, that's the big question we're going to answer.
And the answer is a process that's part science, part art, and 100% business. It's called construction estimating. It really is the invisible blueprint that decides if a project even gets built, who gets to build it, and, in the end, whether that company makes a profit or goes completely broke.
So, let's get right down to it. Let's start with the basics. What is an estimate, really? Because it is so much more than just throwing a guess out there.
Okay, look at the official wording here. An assessment of the probable total cost of some future activity. Now those two words, probable and future, they're the whole game. They tell you right away that estimating isn't about certainty. It's all about trying to predict the future with as much accuracy as you can possibly muster.
So how do you manage all that uncertainty? Well, you break the chaos down into a really simple, logical process. First, you identify every single little thing that needs to be done, from digging a hole to installing a doorknob. Then you measure the size of it all, how many tons of steel, how many miles of wire, and finally, you put a price tag on all of it. It's a pretty powerful way to turn a massive, overwhelming problem into something you can actually manage.
But here's the thing. An estimate isn't a one-and-done deal. It's more like a living, breathing document that evolves over time. Let's actually follow its journey from just a vague idea to a super detailed financial plan.
You can see right here how the estimate gets sharper and more focused as the project goes on. It starts way back in the program phase with a really broad conceptual estimate. Think of it like a ballpark figure, just to see if the project is even in the realm of possibility financially. Then, as the design gets more detailed, you get preliminary estimates. And by the time the contractors are ready to bid, it's a finely tuned final pre-bid estimate. Every step is about reducing risk and getting closer and closer to that true final cost.
And this is just so important to understand. Those early kind of fuzzy estimates, they're the first major reality check. An owner uses that first number to ask the big question, can I actually afford to do this? And then, as the design takes shape, the estimates act like guardrails, They help the architects make smart choices to keep the project from going completely off the rails budget-wise.
Okay, so the design is locked in, the owner's ready to go. Now the whole game changes. This is where it turns into a high-stakes competition where contractors have to put their money where their mouth is.
And this competition usually plays out in two main ways. For public projects, like schools or government buildings, you'll almost always see open bidding. It's advertised for everyone to see, and pretty much any qualified company can take a shot. But for private projects, it's often closed bidding. Think of it as an exclusive party, where the owner invites only a small, trusted group of contractors to the table. So wide open field on one side and a curated list on the other. So if you're one of those contractors, how do you come up with that one number you're willing to bet your company's future on? Well, it all comes down to a super rigorous, methodical, 6-step process.
This right here is the absolute heart of a contractor's work. It all kicks off with a quantity takeoff, which is really just a fancy way of saying they measure everything. Every single wire, every pipe, every board. And let me tell you, this is where the most dangerous mistakes can hide. A small error here can just blow up the entire bid. After that, they recap or organize all those numbers. Then they price out the materials and labor, get quotes from all the subcontractors, factor in their own overhead costs, and finally wrap it all up into the final bid. It is, by far, the most accurate way to do it, but, as you can imagine, it takes a ton of time.
By now, I think you're getting a pretty good feel for the pressure involved here. When it comes to estimating, getting it right isn't just the goal, it's literally a matter of survival.
I mean, this quote from our source material says it all, doesn't it? If your estimate is too high, you'll never win a job. If it's too low, you might win the job, but you'll lose your shirt building it. The actual survival of the business rests on getting that number right.
And a bad estimate creates this ripple effect that goes way, way beyond just losing money on one project. It can lead to massive legal fights, constant delays, and it can absolutely destroy a company's reputation. I mean, who wants to hire the contractor who's always late and always asking for more money? The fallout can be huge.
So the next time you're walking through the city and you look up and see a crane in the sky, just take a second. Think about the invisible architecture that had to come first. All the spreadsheets, the endless calculations, the thousands of tiny decisions that all came together to form one single critical number. Think about the invisible numbers that made the whole thing possible.